Your weekly roundup of HR news and events in Singapore and beyond. This is HRM Weekly. I'm Shalini Shiklapande. PMEs in Singapore can soon be represented by rank-and-file unions. Also, large foreign worker dormitories will now need to be licensed. We begin with the amendments to the Industrial Relations Act. From 1st April onwards, professionals, managers and executives or PMEs can be collectively represented by rank-and-file unions. Currently, PMEs cannot be collectively represented by such unions due to concerns that such representation would give rise to a conflict of interest and undermine management effectiveness. The tripartite partners discussed some criteria to determine the eligibility for collective representation, such as salary levels and workforce distribution. However, executives with certain responsibilities are still excluded from being collectively represented by rank-and-file unions. They include those who are employed in a senior management position, those who represent employers' interest in union management matters, and those whose union affiliation could give rise to a conflict of interest. Another key amendment to the Act will allow rank-and-file unions to expand the scope of individual representation on matters relating to re-employment. Currently, rank-and-file unions can represent PMEs on an individual basis only in 4 limited areas: breach of individual contract of employment, retrenchment benefits, unfair dismissal, and victimization. The scope of limited representation will expand to include issues such as re-employment after retirement. PMEs form more than 30% of the workforce, and the proportion is expected to increase as Singaporeans become better educated and aspire to such jobs. A new licensing framework has been proposed for foreign worker dormitories to improve workers' living conditions. According to the Foreign Employee Dormitories Bill, a commissioner for foreign employee dormitories can now impose additional requirements on larger dormitories with 1,000 beds or more through a licensing regime. For instance, operators must develop quarantine plans in the event of infectious disease outbreak and provide sufficient sick bay facilities based on guidelines set by Ministry of Health. They are also required to establish emergency response plans in consultation with Singapore Civil Defence Force and the police to deal with fires or other potential public order incidents. The Manpower Ministry has set relatively high penalties as a deterrent. The highest proposed penalty for operating an unlicensed dormitory is a fine of up to $500,000 or imprisonment of up to 2 years or both for a first offence. For a repeat offence, the penalty will be doubled. A 6-month transition period from the date the proposed bill comes into effect in the second half of 2015 will be allowed to enable existing large dormitories to level up their standards and obtain a license. Smaller dorms that do not cross the 1,000-bed threshold will continue to be subject to existing comprehensive regulations to protect the safety and well-being of residents. China's pension system is on track to become fairer. Facing pressures from a rapidly aging population, China has abolished its dual-track pension system that previously favoured civil servants over employees in the private sector. 37 million civil servants must now contribute 8% of their salary to personal pension accounts, while their employers must put into a pooled fund a sum amounting to 20% of each employee's wages. Employees must also contribute 4% of their salaries to an occupational annuity system, a form of supplementary pension insurance, and their employers 8%. The previous pension system didn't require civil servants to contribute to their retirement savings, yet they received pensions of about 90% of their pre-retirement salaries. The move, welcomed by private sector employees, aims to build an equitable and impartial retirement savings system. Experts said that the changes will help to reduce social inequality, which has been a cause for rising public anger. Hiring intent for Japanese workers is not looking good this year. More than half of Japanese workers who are laid off each year face long periods of joblessness before finding work. Around 1.4% of Japanese workers are retrenched each year due to economic reasons such as corporate downsizing and business closings. The retrenchment rate rose above 2% in 2009 due to global financial crisis, but had returned to 1.4% by 2012. According to a new report by Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, women, mature workers, and less educated people were not only more vulnerable to getting retrenched, but also faced the most difficulty in finding another job. When they finally managed to gain employment, they earned substantially less than in their previous job. The report urged the Japanese government to help displaced workers find a job soon and ensure that they are recipients of the employment insurance benefit. For this week's HR Bulletin, Engagement for Peak Performance 2015 is a special format congress designed to fulfill your organization's vision of employee engagement while strategically achieving business results. Join us and experts across industries as we explore new case studies, question traditional methods of engaging the workforce, and discuss today's pressing engagement challenges. Happening on 26th of March at the Novotel Singapore Clarke Quay. To register, email us at info@hrmasia.com.sg or call us at 6423-4631. And finally, think about this. Thought is the wind, knowledge the sail, and mankind the vessel. By Augustus Hare. And that's HRM Weekly. Get more stories on hrmasia.com. From Singapore, I'm Shalini Shuklapande. Thanks for watching.